Boom, 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 boom. There it is. There it is. There it is. My name is Andrew Contaxis. I'm with AVK Wealth, Financial Education for All, helping you achieve your dream lifestyle. Today, we are starting our first book review on Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's going to be the first in a long series of books that we're going to cover on all things financial education. So, boom, there it is. And he's also got other books. He's got Cashflow Quadrant. He's got Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. As you can see, I got a whole bunch of books back here that we're going to be covering. So, but today, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, let's get into it. So, today, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by a guy named Robert Kiyosaki. One of the first books I ever read on financial education. One of the best books I've read on financial education. Best books mean that it helped me on my journey to go where I'm at today. It helped me acquire, like I said, all these other books back here, but it started with this one right here. Boom. So, is it good? Is it bad? Let's get into it. First off, everyone I've ever talked to, whether they run a business, whether they are in real estate, whether in stocks and bonds, mutual funds, most everyone, or just money in general, have read this book. It's one of the gateways of financial education. It's how most people get into it. So I would say that this is a highly influential book. Now, some people love it, some people don't like it. But again, it is like the gateway into getting into all the other pathways that you want to get into. So again, let's get into the chapters. Over here, the rich do not work for money. That is the first chapter of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It is one of the most mind-bending chapters that I've ever read, because I come from a background where you go to school, you get your degree, you go to college, you get your second degree, you get your job, maybe you have a job in there, and you start working for people, and you collect that paycheck, and that's the way things go. That's how the way it works. And I was like, well, I'm working for people getting this paycheck, and that's what I've always taught. You go get a job at a good corporate job, or you get a job with the government with great benefits, you start working for them. And then to find out the rich do not work for money, what the heck does that mean? But essentially, wealth is created. It is made. It is created out of your brain up here. You make things happen. So for example, I had no properties. I had zero to my name. I had to go out and acquire them. That was something I had to go create and make happen out of my own will. My business that I have right now, AVK Wealth, I had to create that. That was nothing. It was actually originally a poster on my wall that just sat there for a long time. It was just an idea that I've been picking up before I actually took action steps to making this happen. So again, the rich do not work for money. They create it out of their own mind, which is crazy to think, which is the opposite of what's told. Chapter 2, why teach financial literacy? Basically, this book here is basically a book for the tax code. It is like a book on taxes, very simply and made easy to read, but understanding how money works. What are the different types of ways money can come to you and leave you? And again, the biggest thing that Robert teaches in here between Robert and his friend, or his dad and his rich dad that he talks about, is understanding why, again, going back to the first one, some people work to earn that money, and some people do not work to earn money. They learn to earn money. They create assets to earn money. They have money to create money. There's different ways, but you have to understand how the tax code is structured, how you get tax breaks for you being a business or being a W-2 employee. But essentially, again, learning how money works to make sure that you can create and have more of it come to you. The third one, I love this one. This one is a great statement. I heard, as a teacher, you hear kids say, mind your own business. Don't touch me. Don't talk to them. Stop listening. Mind your own business. And I've heard that forever in my life. I've heard it forever as a kid, but I never stopped to think about it from a business perspective. That I have to mind my business. Are you minding someone else's business? So when you go work for somebody, right, you're minding their business, that company's business. If you're working for the government, you're minding the government's business. You're helping them achieve their goals. You're helping your business or company achieve their goals. What are you achieving for yourself? That's the problem, because the problem is we spend all of our time working for other people, all of our time working for a company, all of our time working for a government, and we're promised government benefits or grant retirement or 401k or a pension, or all these things that we're promised. But we really don't know what happens at the end of the road till you get there. When you talk to people that have been there, but our problem is you're not minding your own business until you don't have that company to rely on anymore. And now you actually got to mind what money is coming into me. I got to mind my own business. So for me, the big change was, instead of minding someone else's business, instead of working for someone else, I started minding my own business. I started looking at my finances. I started looking at how money is coming into me. I started looking about my assets, my liabilities. I started talking about my company. I started my. It sounds very, very, very selfish. It really does. But when you are minding your own business, you're able to create things that help others. You're able to support other people on their journey. You're able to provide more goods and services to your community to help improve it. But you gotta mind your own first. You can't be minding someone else's. So that is a huge turning point. These are mind-bending things. Instead of minding someone else's business, you have to mind your own. Then it talks about the history of taxes and the power of corporations. Again, when it goes into this book, which we will review, Cashflow Quadrant, it talks about E's, S's, B's, and I's. If you're an E and S, you're essentially working for someone else. You're collecting a W-2 check. And again, not that this is bad. This is a very traditional way of working. Most people do that. But if you go on the other side, the B and I, which is the business and investor, the tax code is different. It works very differently than it does on the ES side. You're allowed more tax breaks. You can withhold more taxes or less taxes. Maybe you can do it on the W-2 side, but you can collect those taxes a year later or a year earlier. I know I'm kind of butchering it a little bit, but again, talk to a CPA about all this. But you can make the tax code work for you in a lot of different ways. So businesses can be structured through different tax codes and different corporations. We'll talk about like sole proprietorships, LLCs, S corps, C corps, the whole thing. But for the point of this book is, taxes, corporations are how you can generate money and keep more money for yourself. If you look at the tax code, W-2s, there's not a whole lot you can do for them, and we'll discuss that in a later video. But you really only you can take standard deduction, you can do a line item summary to figure out which one's more, and you can get some tax credits to lower. But there's not much. Whereas a business, there's a lot more avenues that you can take to lower your taxes. Number 5, we've talked about this before. The rich invent money. They invent it right here. They think of things. They see problems in the world, and they go about to solve them. They invent things that never happened before. Steve Jobs at Apple created the iPhone. There was no such thing as an iPhone. We had regular phones, and you could ring and talk to somebody. But again, that wasn't a thing. He created in his mind the whole system. Someone is a creator, an inventor, a founder. They're solving problems that have not been solved. So you've got to be creative and do that. And when you create, when you invent, you make goods and services, when you create products that help your community, you will make that money in return. But that money is created out of thin air. It is nothing. For example, this company back here was nothing. I had to create that. I had to make that. I had to build a brand. I had to do all these different things to be able to create this business. And hopefully this business will generate income for me later on. 6, you are working to learn, not for money. Again, the problem with W-2 is you're working for money. You punch the clock, you come in, you come out, you get your check. You get your salary, you divide that up into 12 months, 10 months, whatever it is, and you get paid that, and that is all. You do your job, you get paid, you come home. You're not really learning a whole lot except how to work for other people. Again, it goes back to minding your own business. See how these principles kind of apply to one another? When, again, you're learning a skill, or you're learning a trade, or you're learning something about business, you're minding your own business. It goes back to you. You're working to learn so you can grow that business. You can grow yourself. You can grow your skills. And with those skills come more money when you're minding your own business. And that's been the biggest thing for me. I've had to learn about YouTube, which I'm not very good at, but I'm trying to get better. I learned about social media, which I have not been very good, but I'm going to get better. I've had to learn about funnels and emails and all these different things. I have not been very good at those things because those are not skills that have come innately to me. But as I'm building my business, as I'm minding my business, as I'm inventing things, well, I have to get better at them so I can help serve you, so I can make sure that I help you achieve your goals, where you're able to come to me and get information from me so that you are able to improve your life and make better decisions. Because I truly, truly, truly believe the more information you have, the better decisions you're able to make. Let me say that again. With more information that you get, whether it be from me, whether it be from this book, whether it be from anywhere, the more information you have, you're able to make better decisions. And that's what this book changes, because this information really wasn't out there. But as technology changes, as social media gets better, information is more available, so we're able to make better decisions. And the last one is, again, we kind of talk about Cashflow quadrant, which leads into this book, which is this next big book. He talks about E's, which are employees, S's, which are specialists, maybe even small businesses, which the definition of the tax code is 500 employees or less. Then you have on the other side, big business, which is 500 employees or more, and investor, which is straightforward. And how that's basically essentially looking at the tax code and how tax code evaluates people. It's not saying employees are bad. It's not saying small businesses are bad. It's not saying specialists are bad. It's not saying people who have more education are bad. It's not saying big biz. It's nothing. It's just a category about how you are taxed. And understanding that taxes is one of your biggest expenses, just like your property is one of your biggest expenses. How can you minimize or limit those expenses? That makes you smart. So those are like the 7 big principles that this book really, really, really gets down and teaches. And I spent a lot of time kind of muddling this in my head, and it's taken me years to really understand these principles, really embody them, not just understanding, but acting on them, taking action towards each and every single one of these steps. And let me tell you, it's really, 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 really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. I've had to get out of my own skin. I've had to get out of my own thoughts. I've had to get out of my own fear. And I'm continuing to do this. And I know I'm not the best speaker on necessarily YouTube. And I'm completely doing this completely unedited. I'm not editing nothing because I'm a teacher. And when I teach, I don't get edited today. I can't go back and sit there and say, I want to do over. I may get another period or something, but I can't get a do over. So that's how I feel most comfortable presenting that information. One take, straight away, no nothing, just giving it to you. But on camera, you're recorded for all your mistakes. And I've gotten a lot of feedback based on mistakes, but I take those and I learn from them and I try to get better. But again, implementing these different values. Next, why does this book get so much hate? I've seen more hate on this book than I have seen in most any other book. And I think it's because it's a bestseller. It's sold millions of copies. It's done a lot in the world. It's provided a lot of good. But because of the information, going back to the previous principles, people don't like change. People don't like their world, especially when you're talked to, you go get that W-2 job with a lawyer, doctor, teacher, whatever, and you go work for that company. That's been engraved for like 12, 13, 15, 18 years, whatever it is. And then they have this book come along and change that. That's a problem. So number one, the information is not consistent with the school system. It's not what it trains. It doesn't train big business. It does not train how to account for yourself when you're an accountant. How many accountants work for other people? Someone comes into your office, you help them with the problem, but you're not helping yourself with your own problem. You're not minding your own business. You're not creating things. So at the end of the day, you work for a company for 30 years. Fantastic, wonderful. Maybe you only work for 5 or 10, but you're only receiving a pension, and now you have to wait on that company to give you your pension. You have to wait on the 401k company to give you your money. You're waiting on things to come for you, but you're not creating. You don't have anything built other than that. Number two, you look at it forces people to understand how the tax code is written. Most people think taxes are boring, or I don't like taxes, or it's something enforced to do. For me, I love it. I love saving money. I love finding ways to lower my taxable income. I love finding ways to build assets that provide and build things. I love finding a way to, where I'm a W-2 employee, I work with the school system. However, I'm building a business back here. And this business will help offset some of my costs. If I take a loss, or if I get depreciation on one of my properties, I understand the tax code, and the tax code is my friend. And the more you make your tax code your friend, the more you'll be able to save money, the more you'll be able to invest and take advantage of it, especially when you go to that BI category where you can now leverage the tax code for your business or for your investments. 3, Robert can be very over the top, especially over the years. I've watched this guy, this face, for quite some time, and he's gotten a bit over the top. He's got a bit of extreme in his views, and I can see how he rubs people the wrong way, especially when he calls people savers on losers. I know what he means. What he means is if you are saving $1, if you're saving that dollar and you put it into a bank account, that dollar is being depreciated. It's just being depreciated. The money is not worth the same as it was today. So, for example, $1 today is not worth the same that $1 is worth tomorrow. It is going down in value every single day. So you're technically losing money. The problem is he's calling people losers. It's that double entendre thing that he uses. So when he says, savers are losers, and when people are like, well, I've been saving my whole entire life, you're calling me a loser? He doesn't really mean it that way, but he plays on it that way. And so that way he can be provocative, he can be, catch your eye, he may get a soundbite. So when he calls you savers or losers, I think he does that intentionally to get those views to draw attention to himself. But it does not go over well when you call people losers, even though I do understand what he's saying. He's saying that if you are keeping money in a bank account, that money is technically losing its value, where you can be putting into an asset that gains value. So that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. The next one, he strongly, heavily leans on real estate. I love real estate. I own now several properties that are driving income my way, and I do love real estate for all the tax benefits it does. I love helping support people in the community, providing places for them to live. But he leans on that a lot. Now he talks about gold and silver, and he talks about stocks and bonds here and there. He has mixed information depending on what channel you get on. He leans very heavily into the real estate area. And I was talking to my brother about it. He was like, this can't be the only area he's in. If real estate's it, then get me out. And it's not the only place that he's in, but he heavily leans on it. And not everyone loves real estate as an avenue to gain wealth. Another one, number 5, Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey. Where's my Dave Ramsey book? Dave Ramsey. Here's my Dave book. I got my Dave book. Look. 2 different people, 2 different philosophies. I got my Dave book right here. Total Money Makeover. We'll talk about this one later. But Dave is a different beast. Dave believes in getting out of debt, not using leverage, not using money, making your income stronger by getting more income, by working a job, moving up the ranks, becoming a manager, or whatever it is. Dave believes in getting out of all debt and then using your income as a way to build your wealth and investing in stocks, mutual funds, but more like the S&P 500. These 2 people couldn't be any further along, and Dave is a big proponent of saving. So if you're looking at this dude and then going to this dude, these 2 are like fighting it out over here to find out who's going to prevail. So a lot of people taking Dave's advice. I'm not saying it's bad advice, but it's definitely catered towards a certain person. But it rubs people the wrong way, especially when you're calling savers losers. And then Dave says, saving smart. Saving helps you pay off your debt. Saving helps you get out of debt. So they're just different philosophies. But that's why this guy gets so much hate. Next. Oh, excuse me. I know you can't really see it back there, but please subscribe to my channel. I have 59 subscribers. I'm looking to build it. Please go to avkwealth.com/register. We are giving out personal financial statements that can help you on your financial journey. It helps you with your income statement, finding how much money that you're driving in, how much money that you're expending each month, whether your assets and your liabilities. When people talk about budgeting, I don't love budgets very much because of the fact that it's a shrinking mindset and it only looks at a certain parts of the picture. But when you look at a whole financial statement, it is much, much better. So over here, you got the 2 links, which is 1 to my YouTube page, so you can subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button. And 2 for my website, which you can register and get into my monthly emails. But again, I will provide you with that financial statement to be able to help you on your journey, because that's a great starting point of finding out where you are financially. Moving on. What I have learned. What are my big takeaways from the book? Well, This book started my financial journey. It's the one that really got me going. I read some other books, but this one's really pushed me on my journey. From there, I was able to use my 401k to buy some real estate. I was able to buy my first duplex and get started down that and start my first business, which was real estate. From there, I was able to build my businesses, AVK Wealth, financial education. I was able to start that brand as well as other kind of businesses and learning about LLCs and different liability companies that I've been able to build and funnel wealth through. And then lastly, because of my businesses, because of my real estate, I've been able to significantly lower my taxes on the W-2 side because I'm still a W-2 employee. I still work for the school system as a teacher, educating kids every single day, but not just educating kids, educating you here. But anyways, what I've learned about it. And it seems so simple. It seems so short. 4 easy steps. Nah, this has been a couple years coming. That's really helped me take in all this stuff. So when you start diving into this thing and not just reading it, oh, it's a good book, but really start taking action on it, it is very, very different. So would I recommend this book? I would. My terrible Yoda. I absolutely would agree with reading the book. I don't ever think that financial education is bad. The more education you get, again, you can make better decisions. You may not agree with everything that's in here. You may not agree with, Dave all the time when he's on his podcast. You see him on a channel, he's talking about saving solutions. You may not agree with it. Fine. We can agree on that. However, being aware of how the tax code works, being able to leverage, that's a good thing. Again, this was the beginning of my journey. People look at this end all be all. It's not the end all be all. It is just the beginning steps, starting to begin to understand how money moves, how money flows, what the tax code is like, be it on different sides of it. If you're a W-2 employee, if you're a business owner, if you're an investor, small business very big, there's so much that goes into it, but this is just beginning because again, going back to it, now I have all my books here. These are all my friends. And I'm quite able to understand now the differences between when you look at a Dave Ramsey and you look at a Robert Kiyosaki. Going back to point 2, more information allows you to make better decisions. I stand by that. And again, this book has led millions down the road to financial wealth. Now, again, it's not a silver bullet. It's not that you read this book and, tomorrow I can make millions. I truly believe financial education is a tool to help you. It can also be a weapon because if now you start leveraging debt, if you start taking all these credit cards, if you start taking credit cards to buy houses, you don't know what you're doing. That is a huge, huge problem. But again, this is a good starting point on your journey. And I would highly, 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 highly recommend this book to you. So, in summary, love the book, highly recommend the book. And go pick up the book in my link below in my description for my affiliate links. You can go to Amazon, you can buy it. I get some money for it, help me out, help my channel out. But the biggest thing, like I said, you can subscribe. You can go to my website, register for my monthly emails and to get your personal financial statement. But I would highly recommend this book. I would highly start this on your journey. And then you can start talking about people like Dave, and you can dive into Robert Moore and his whole Rich Dad company. And again, we will talk about all these other books here at a later point. But this is my first book and my first review. We're going to be doing a lot more book reviews in the future, so stay tuned. Again, please subscribe, please register. And again, I will catch you on the next one. Thank you all. Love you all. Peace.